I'm going to die.
Now, you might wonder how I got into this situation. Just like all good stories, it all started with a girl. For that, we will have to go back a month. We are going to interrupt this program for a quick announcement. My merch is back up again. Each purchase will support this channel and you can visit crowdmate.com/Relachi to check it out. A link is in the description. Back to the story. I feel like we could do better with the lighting. We could make it a bit more atmospheric. So, hold on a minute. Ooh. Ow, 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 ow. I burned myself. It's a bit of a fire hazard here. There's like 4 candles. As long as my camera isn't on fire, we're good. Ooh, I came to haunt you. It all started with a girl. The time she joined our gym was when my manager gave me 2 weeks off for her with KK. So we didn't meet until much later. Maybe it was a coincidence, or maybe it was a conspiracy. My manager couldn't keep us from meeting forever though, so after a month me and Sophia met for the first time. And she was a cutie. I know that it was a very superficial crush because Sophia and me were not on the same page at all. I'm the long-term commitment kind of girl. Sophia is the one-day relationship kind of girl. I mean, literally, her longest relationship lasted a whole day. That's kind of impressive. We had great conversations at work, and when we got bored, we would start a rap session. We both tried to master the alphabetic aerobics at double the speed, so if you go to the gym and we two were working there, you would walk in to see this. Artificial amateurs all amazing. Analytically, I assault and make things. Broken barriers bounded by the bomb beat. Buildings are broken basically and bombarding. Casually, create catastrophes, casualties, canceling cats, got the canopies collapsing. Late at night, the diamond dang daily doing go. Demonstrations done data on the down low. Eating other editors with each and every energetic episode. Elevated etiquette. But it didn't matter how good we were vibing or rapping together. I still wouldn't have thought of asking her out back then because I just kind of knew that woman was trouble. This decision, however, wouldn't stop my cannonball of a crush on her. Something about emotionally unavailable women just really does it for me. Why am I like this? Don't misunderstand me though, I rarely have any crushes, but if I do, it's so intense that I just cannot stop myself from being an irrational idiot. She knew I was interested in her, cause I'm horrible in hiding my crushes. After talking a bit at work and off work, Sophia spontaneously called me one night and asked me if I wanted to meet up for some drinks. Oh, sounds good, I'll be on my way. We shared a couple of beers, talked, and got a bit physical. Sophia is someone who keeps her distance from people. I could tell that she doesn't really trust anybody. And the thing is, if I look at her, I could never tell what she's thinking or what she's feeling right now. She's unreadable. She would have her soft moments, but most of the time she sounds and looks like a mean girl. But behind every mean girl, there's a myriad of insecurities. She never talks a lot about herself, but she has hinted at some of her past traumas. I felt like Sophia was able to open up to me more when it was just between us two. But for her privacy's sake, I won't get into too much detail here, but let's just say that she has a lot of family issues and she was in no good place mentally. I really wanted to ask her out again, but I kind of got that feeling that she really wasn't into me, even though she asked me out. But since I cannot tell what this girl is thinking at all, I kind of just relied on my intuition, and my intuition told me to not ask her out. I should just leave it at that one good night we had together, right? But then that hopeful part of my brain started working, and I thought I could at least try asking her out again. What's the worst that could happen, right? Sophia was at the gym working out while I was having my shift. I went up to her when she was about to leave and asked her if she wanted to meet up again sometime. She got really silent and then she just bursted out laughing. And then she just walked away while still laughing really loudly. She didn't even say no, she just laughed. So, was that a yes or a no? Sophia? It's so fun to tell this story, because every time I tell this part of the story, people physically cringe. Well, unrelevant to that rejection, or should I say public execution, things got worse with Sophia shortly after. Kind of the main catalyst for my panic attack, our deputy manager, Kevin. You see, even if Kevin was our deputy, he was one of us. Most of the people working at our gym were all around the same age. We were all pretty young peeps. It was difficult to dislike our deputy manager though. He was charismatic as hell, he knew how to sweet talk people, and he had them good looks working for him. And he had also that shtick with calling people by nicknames he made up. And it's kinda charming, but it annoyed the hell out of me the first time he did it to me because...
Yo, Jackie Chan!
Nope, don't call me that.
Alright, Bruce Lee.
Get the gender right at least.
Got it, Lucy Lou!
Yeah, that's acceptable. When I got to know Kevin on our first shift together, I freaking loved him. And from then on out, I was always looking forward to our shifts together the most. Throughout the months, Kevin has changed my life in some ways. For example, he used to have 2 silver piercings on his left ear, which inspired me to get mine pierced too. He introduced me to the world of hip-hop, and I started dancing and I started listening to hip-hop, rap, R&B. And every time a customer would get nasty with me, I would just have to call Kevin up, he would show up and deal with it for me. Kevin always had my back. And this dude, he was my mentor, he was my big bro. I listened to everything he told me, and I looked up to him so much. But this high wore off after working there longer. He would start annoying me sometimes, and my gut feeling kicked in again. It told me not to trust this guy. And I don't know why my gut feeling was telling me to not trust the guy that inspired me for the last 10 months I was working there. I didn't have any reason to not trust Kevin, so I ignored my gut feeling once again. After working there for almost a year, I was opening up to Kevin. During our work shifts, you spend a lot of time with the manager and deputy, which causes you to open up to them about various things in your life. Cause you run out of things to say after seeing that person 6 hours a day, twice a week. And there was this one particular day at work. I felt like I could trust Kevin enough and decided to out myself. Kevin was now the only one besides Sophia to know of my sexual orientation at work. Problem is that Kevin is a sort of person to have certain principles he lives by. Meaning, he was fine with me being a lesbian, but in the same breath, he stated how much he despised gay men. He was ranting about how much he was against them and how being a gay man makes the person lesser of a human and lesser of a man in his eyes. However, Kevin had a strong bond with his bros, so I got curious and I asked him what if one of his bros was gay. He looked me straight in the face and told me,
I'd stop being his friend immediately.
"You're a dumbass." He went on a tangent about his restricted worldview, about how being gay is wrong, but being a lesbian is hot. Okay, toxic masculinity. Look, I can sort of respect if someone has their own opinion, but I feel like what Kevin is saying is the same sentence I just hear over and over again. By the way, for some reason, he saw me as a bro, aka one of the guys. I guess it's because I dressed rather boyish and I liked girls. He sometimes even asked me if I wanted to be a man. Like, damn, boyish lesbians aren't trans. My clothes don't define my gender, my haircut doesn't define my gender, and dumb deputy managers sure as hell don't define my gender. I do. On the contrary, if he saw a more femme woman dating another femme woman, he'd make one of those statements.
They just haven't met the right man to fuck them straight yet.
I trained myself to just ignore those statements because it doesn't matter how much I argue against him. It's like talking to a brick wall. So I just let it slide, because aside from his ignorance, he was still a great deputy to me. On the day I have outed myself, Kevin tried to give me some dating advice, and I'm sure it was meant well, but those dating advices were a little bit morally questionable.
First, you show her your value.
Then you make her get attached to you through sex. You need to lie to women. Treat her super well, and then all of a sudden ignore her right after.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And he was proud of what he said. The media person side of me, who wanted to always record everything that happens, decided to be like, hey Kevin, would you mind me recording what you just said, for educational purposes?
For sure, go ahead.
Then he just went ahead, looked into the camera and said that you should always lie to people to get what you want. I had a full-on 15 minutes recording of Kevin in his work uniform telling me how to manipulate women. To be honest, I wasn't completely sure why I decided to record this. But it just turned out to be perfect blackmail material, which is why I decided to delete it. I don't know why Kevin agreed on letting me record him at all. When I look back, all I can think about is, who hurt you, Kevin? He would keep pestering me during our 6-hour shifts if there was a girl I liked. I was still working through that incident with Sophia, and after Mr. Deputy Manager constantly being bothersome at work, that I finally confessed to him my crush for Sophia. And that was that. My work shift ended and I went home from what felt like the longest work day I ever had. The next time I came into work, everyone knew. Kevin has outed me without my consent to everyone in the gym. Dude, I don't even know how someone can do that without a bad consciousness. And in such a short amount of time. Suddenly, just everyone knew I was lesbian. The customers, the managers, my colleagues, even the workers from other gyms. I don't even know how he managed to do that. Kevin didn't see anything wrong with what he did, and I mean, of course he didn't. No one ever condemned him for his heterosexuality. He never had to worry about that. But as a way of saying sorry to me, he decided to help me out with Sophia.
Let's go to the club this weekend. I'll invite Sophie and some of the others. How about it?
Sophia already rejected me. Let's leave her be.
Don't worry, I gotcha. This is gonna be the best night of your life.
Correction, this was going to be the worst night of my life. We met at the club downstairs. We were around 6 people, I would say. Kevin, Sophia, me, and 3 other people. Kevin sat here in the middle of the seats. There were 3 other co-workers and Kevin made sure I got to sit next to Sophia, much to my dismay. The table was in a shape so that the only person I could really talk to was Sophia, or the air, I guess. Once we sat down, I figured out the group dynamic pretty fast, cause Kevin was our alpha. He led every conversation of the group. And another thing I noticed, Sophia was infatuated with him. She was listening to his every word attentively and has turned her whole body towards him while sitting next to me. Hey, I got that. I got rejected, no denying it, but this is just rude, damn. At least talk to me. Another thing that has really started to bug me was that no one was talking except for Kevin. So I didn't come all the way here just to listen to him talk the whole night, okay? So I started to interrupt Kevin's monologue, which was a mistake, cause Kevin was not pleased with that. He looked at me like I just stabbed him in the back. So he started to shut me down rather quickly. It didn't matter what I would say, he would always have a dumb answer to it. My classmate voiced the character in the most recent Disney movie.
It's just a kid's movie. They take whoever they want.
Guys, listen, I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, just like everyone else who wants to start a YouTube channel. What you gonna do? Make videos about how to make fried rice and do kung fu?
And I sat there like, what the hell? It's not something I encounter often, and back then I had no clue what was going on. I realized he was trying to establish that he was the alpha male. What he was trying to do was to lightly insult and bully me to kind of establish the ranking in his made-up hierarchy. After outing me and all those racist remarks, and my gut feeling tingling the whole time, I realized Kevin wasn't that great of a guy after all. That night wasn't about trying to cheer me up or help me with Sophia. It was about him, all along. So everyone was laughing at his jabs towards me, and I had 4 options. Roast him back, laugh with the group, show that I'm insulted, or say nothing. And I chose... Alright, please don't hate me, but I need to stop the story here and leave you on a cliffhanger, because this video is getting very long already. But if you want to see how the story ends, and how things get resolved or not with Sophia and Kevin, then stay tuned for part 2. Meanwhile, you can subscribe to this channel. I accidentally dated 2 guys without even knowing about it. I think our daughter should definitely go for Eddie, but with Evan our grandkids would be much taller. Eddie's eyes are way prettier. You have no idea what... I mean, I just ignored my parents. They would ship my gay ass with every male friend I bring over, until things escalated. That's not something a friend does.